right. Oh man. Okay. Okay. This is gonna be a weird. Whew. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this video. Um, okay. So here's what's happening. Um, I usually wear glasses or contacts, as you've seen. Um, I am not wearing anything right now. Um, my glasses are right here. I do not have my contacts in, and I'm gonna do this entire video being visually impaired. Before I get into this, let me be absolutely super clear. I am going to say the word blind a lot in this video. I am talking about a metaphorical blindness. Like when it comes up, I'm going to be talking about like being metaphorically blind. I want to make it absolutely clear that I am grateful for my vision. If I say something like I wish I were blind, right? I don't mean in a literal physiological sense. That's not what I'm talking about. This is metaphor land. This is weird hippy dippy land that we're living in. I just want to make that distinction very clear up front. So with that said, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. I am your host, Raja Burrows, and today I am going to be going flying blind. So here's a little bit of backstory. So one of the things that I have been really processing and continuing to process, and honestly will probably be processing for the rest of my life, is this sensor modality, right? The difference between masculine sensory and feminine sensory, what the differences are, how I go through the world compared to even honestly, even like my type twins who are double feminine. It feels like I have fucking nothing in common with them in a lot of ways. They have lead masculine NI at the top. Their double activated SE is feminine. Their sleep animal, they're like their NI and their FI. Both those, like, they have a double masculine sleep, like they have that like David Goggins sleep. And I was like, I don't fucking relate to any of this. What is going on? So that was sort of like the first part of this. And then the second part is I just got back from a week visiting my parents in Albuquerque, childhood home. And it's beautiful out there. They live on sort of like the outskirts of town. You see the mountains and the buffalo and the grass and the sage and the sky and the feelings. But it's just like big, open, expansive, kind of like fuzzy, messy terrain, right? Because you have like the dirt and the sage and the mountains are kind of like they're not really sharp lines because it's nature, and nature isn't always like sharp in that, like it doesn't draw straight lines the way that like a ruler, like you have to manufacture like a straight line like that. And I started thinking about how I was sleeping. That's really where all of this started. I sleep really well when I go back home to visit. Now, there are obviously a couple of reasons for this. One of them, it's my childhood bedroom. I'm there. I've grown up there. I'm comfortable there, whatever. There's like the feeling of home. It doesn't feel like a transient place. And, you know, this is just a side note, but like the apartments that I've lived in since 18, like everywhere that I've lived since being 18, has very explicitly never been a permanent home. It's always been, I'm here for now, and then I'm there for now, and then I'm in this other place for now. And I've sort of bopped around, and that's been cool and interesting and whatever. And it's been really nice to not get stuck in a lot of ruts. But it also hasn't given me a particularly strong sense of like centeredness and home and like right? So in thinking about all of this, one thing that I became really aware of because in New Mexico, I don't get headaches. Like I don't really get stressed in New Mexico. And again, let me be clear. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with it's a vacation. It's, my parents are cooking me dinner every night and we're all being a family together and we're watching TV and eating cookies and just like going, it's great. So obviously that's not going to be stressful. But when I say I don't feel stressed, I mean in sort of like a periphery visual kind of way. Just because there isn't as much visual stimulus in New Mexico. There just isn't. There aren't billboards every 10 feet, right? If I'm walking through, on Sunset Boulevard, whatever, on the Sunset Strip, it's just like so many things are competing for your attention. In these larger cities, certainly on the internet. And I've just been really trying to process like what is, regardless of what I do for a living, right? Regardless of where I live, like that's all like ST whatever. Like I can just do that because those are my saviors. But like, what is sort of my optimal way to live and my optimal way to go through life? And one of the things that I started to become aware of and realize is I really like not wearing my glasses. My prescription is terrible. Like I wear a -7 for contacts, and I think that for my glasses, I want to say they're like -8 in both eyes. Like my eyes are not good. They're not good. But I like not wearing them. And when I'm just like around and just like in my apartment without my glasses on, I actually feel really comfortable. And it's weird because I'm looking around right now and I actually don't know what time it is. I can't see how many people are watching. I know that we are live and recording because I see a little red square. But like the little number next to how many people are watching, I have no idea. I genuinely don't know. Looking at the digital clock, I can't see what time it is. But once I get over the shock of like, I don't have all of the information, I'm like, what do I actually need to know? Like visually, if I am at home, what do I actually need to know and need to see? Kind of not a lot. Like when I actually really got down to it, like I have my coffee here, right? I don't need my glasses to be able to confidently pick up the cup of coffee and take a drink. There aren't the details of like, well, how full is the cup of coffee and the this and the that. Like that doesn't actually matter. I had some broccoli this morning. I made some eggs, got some broccoli. I went to that's another story. But I had some broccoli and I was like, I don't actually need my glasses for this activity. They're not strictly necessary. And I sort of woke up this morning and I was just like really enjoying the way that my consciousness felt right when I woke up. And, I got into town last night and I was definitely very tired and I slept a lot. And, of course, there's going to be some jet lag and this and that, whatever. But I was like, I don't know. There's something about the way that I'm experiencing the world right now in bed without my glasses on, that the only way that I can describe it is that it just feels like how I'm supposed to live. So someone just left a comment. And this is why, again, I take my literal sight. I do not take my literal sight for granted. I'm appreciative that I can do this. Someone just left a comment. If I had my glasses on, I could see the comment, from out here. but I don't. So I'm just going to lean in for a second to read. This is right. Oh, it's just, yes. Jessica's saying this is so weird to her. Yeah, no, it's super true. It's wild. But I just remember like the physical feeling of just the sensory information I was taking in. I was like, this is the right amount of information. I don't know why, but as like a baseline, there's something about this that feels physiologically and psychologically right to me. And so, Jessica, as you know, as some of you all may know, so every morning, part of my morning meditation ritual, whatever, I have a really cool tarot deck that I got. And so I do a daily tarot draw. And it's not so much about like telling the future. It's more of just like over time in aggregate, like I'm going to draw my consciousness to all of these different facets. This is what pay attention to this today, pay attention to this tomorrow, right? And over time, I'll get all of the balance and I'll sort of have like a balanced psyche, over time. But I was doing it today and I was like, oh man, this is going to be tough. Like, how am I going to know what to do? I'm going to have to read. It's going to be a pain in the ass. And then I sat down and I started shuffling the deck and I was like, all right, well, I don't actually need to see that well, like beyond shapes. Like, so my level of vision is I can see shapes of things. It's like I'm in a Neil LaBute play. Right? But I can see shapes of things and I know what they are. I'm like, okay, I know this is a deck of cards. I can feel the deck. I can cut the deck how I want to. I usually close my eyes for this part anyway, so I'm not depriving myself of anything. I'm shuffling, I'm vibing it out. And then I do my draw. And then I remember I held the card at like a reasonable distance away from I wasn't holding the card any further away or closer than I would have with my glasses on. And I could read it just fine. It was the Chariot, by the way. And I was like, oh, okay. I actually got all the information I needed. And then I read the little book. And so for the reading, I had to hold the book a little closer. That's fine. I can do that for 30 seconds. That's not the end of the world. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, read it close, whatever. As I'm writing down the little journaling thing, like this was, again, it was a little annoying. It wasn't as nice looking as I would maybe want it to be if I were like writing something for other people to read. But it wasn't chicken scratch, and like I could read my own handwriting and it was fine, and I did the thing, and I've been writing words for long enough that I have the muscle memory for it. It's fine. And so I just did that. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Booping along and bopping along. And then I was like, oh, I need to go to the grocery store. And that's when I hatched this experiment. So my experiment is I want to see how long I can go today without wearing my glasses. Now there were a couple of times when I'm going to have to cheat. So I have to do a little bit of work later where I have to like write a letter to somebody. And that is I'm going to wear my glasses for that. It's going to look messy and I'm not going to be doing my job. It's not good. Right. And to set up this video, I did have to like put my glasses on momentarily to like make sure that I'm hitting post and make sure that I don't have any typos in the thing. Right. But for instance, I went to the grocery store today and I did not wear my glasses. I walked the whatever, I think it's like a half a mile-ish to the grocery store. I walked to the grocery store, no glasses, was totally fine. It was totally, totally fine because I know how to get to the goddamn grocery store. I don't need to read, oh, I'm going to walk down such and such street, and then I'm going to turn on Fuller Avenue, and then I'm going to, like, I don't need to do any of this. Like, that's not, no. I know how to get to the goddamn grocery store. And so then I went to the grocery store, and it was a really wonderful experience, honestly, going to the grocery store without my glasses on. Because again, I've been to the grocery store enough. I know how to, I know enough where things are that I can just like do them. right? Like I know the deli is over here, and I know the vegetables are there, and I know the meat is over there, and I know the this and that. Like I I have the lay of the land enough that I don't actually need to be reminded and told where it is. Like the shapes are enough for me. But this is what was really interesting is I went in and I could tell there were a bunch of like orange stickers on things that in my mind, I know that those stickers say sale. But with my glasses off, they just looked like orange stickers. So yes, they absolutely like drew my attention a little bit, but I didn't care. It was easy to ignore, right? Like, and like so like I went to the deli to get like, I get this chicken salad, I get a little broccoli salad that I like a lot. And then I have to walk past all the sweet things. And I just didn't care. Like no part of me cared about the sweet things. And it was cool. Like I don't buy a lot of sweet things anyway, generally. My sugar has been a little comme ci comme ça lately, which I don't love. But that's normal stress and holidays and COVID and bullshit, whatever. But I remember it has never been easier to walk past the sweets. Never been easier because I just didn't see them. I didn't need to see them. They weren't like trying to be sold at, like there was no call to action that I was being bombarded with. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't care about you. I'm just going to go straight through and get the thing that I actually need. I'm going to get my salmon and my steak and go get the vegetables and the right. And I was like, oh fuck. Oh, this is really cool. Oh, this is really cool. And it didn't take me longer to go grocery shopping. Maybe it took me less time. So I think it took me roughly the same amount of time, but I was definitely less stressed afterward. And I even did the self-checkout, which I didn't love. I would have preferred to have like had someone else check me out. That would have been easier. But whatever. The line was long and I didn't want to wait. So I did the self-checkout. It was fine. It was fine. I zoomed in a little bit, check a couple of boop and the bop, and then I was done. And I was like, all right, great. I can go back to Fuzzyland. And I started thinking about all the things that I do in life that don't strictly require perfect 20/20 vision, right? I made eggs this morning. I didn't need my glasses for that. I didn't need it because first off, I know when the butter, again, I can see shapes well enough. I can tell when the butter is melted. And more importantly, I can smell when the butter is melted. I don't need my eyesight to tell me when to put the eggs in. I don't need my eyesight. I don't need 20/20 vision. Let me put it that way. I don't need 20/20 vision to know when my eggs are stirred enough. I don't need my vision to tell me how much salt to put in the eggs because I do that by feel anyway with the salt shaker. I do like, yeah, let me give it like 3 good turns and then I'm good. I don't need my vision for that. I don't need my eyesight to eat, right? To like, I don't need 20/20 vision. Even that, I might even need like, I could do it like with my eyes closed. Don't need it to eat. Don't need it to drink my coffee. Don't need it to eat the broccoli. Then I started going even further, and I was like, I don't need my vision to play the guitar. If I want to like do push-ups, I don't need to see to do push-ups. That's just not a thing that is strictly necessary. And like when I'm walking around, I can see red, blue, and green lights. I can see the shape of the dude telling me to walk or not walk. I can see cars coming. Like my vision, my fuzzy, not 20/20 vision is surprisingly sufficient. I don't need my 20/20 vision to make coffee because I can see enough how full the coffee filter is. Oh, and I know that like the 3 lights go in order of 8 ounces, 10 ounces, 12 ounces. Great, let me push the 12-ounce one, and then the middle one lights up. All of this is to say, it really got me thinking about consciousness in general. So I was going to make this video about like masculine sensory versus feminine sensory and the kinesthetic versus the visual and the whatever. But I think that there's a larger conversation to be had about consciousness in general. And how I think that there's a difference between having your eyes closed and then having 20/20 vision. Ooh, all right. So here's a perfect real-time example. I can see fuzzy enough. A couple of comments are being left. Great. Because my eyes are not literally closed the entire time, and I'm not completely unconscious of what's going on in front of me, I can see like, I'm seeing some fuzzy shapes. Great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in, whether it's putting on my glasses. You know what? How about that? Just to extend the metaphor. So now I say, I see some fuzzy comments. Okay, got anxiety. Yeah, Parva doesn't believe that's how much I need my sight, right? So what I did just there feels like definitely closer to what I want to steer towards in terms of consciousness in my real life. Because here's the thing, I'm not recording this video with my eyes closed. Because if I have my eyes closed, I'm not going to see any comments. I'm not even going to know if I'm live and recording. I'm not going to know if something is cut out, right? And what I'm really interested in exploring in this next sort of chunk of my own personal development is, what does this sort of fuzzy consciousness look like? Because I think that when we're talking in OP terms, I think that it's so easy. And again, the more that I think about it, the more that I think they're not actually saying this, but I think it's easy to interpret it as this like Neo in the, they talk about like Neo in the Matrix. He comes out of the Matrix and now he sees everything. But like, there really is a gradient between like having your eyes closed and being totally unconscious and unaware of anything that you can't see or haven't done before, versus opening your eyes and having them be like a little fuzzy, and then putting on the glasses and having perfect clarity, right? And sort of one of the big things that I have been thinking about and have been really feeling is like very much the right path for me. So I talk a lot about like, I want to become more unconscious. And what I don't mean, and now that I'm realizing like where there's been friction and where like, I'm like, no, I'm not communicating this right. And other people are like, I don't know, unconsciousness bad. I am not saying that I want to close my eyes again. Absolutely not. Because just using the analogy of all these things, I can't make my coffee with my eyes closed. I can't really confidently cook my eggs with my eyes closed. Like, I'm not Daredevil. I didn't have like a toxic waste accident that blinded me but increased my 4 senses. No. Like, I need fuzzy vision to get through life, right? Even playing the guitar. Once I have the guitar on me, yeah, I could probably close my eyes and play the guitar by muscle memory, whatever. Like, that's because it's the thing I've practiced enough that I truly can do it blind. But like, going up to get the guitar, there is no fucking way that I'm going to leave my eyes closed if I'm like, let's say I want to like do a bit and be like, let me show you what it looks like to play the guitar with my eyes. Nobody cares. But like, to go up and get the guitar, like, I need to be able to see the shape of the fucking guitar if I'm going to be able to pick up the right guitar. right? But crucially, all that I need for 80%, 80% of my day to day, again, I'm testing this hypothesis, we'll see. But like 80%, I don't actually need more than shapes. I don't need more than shapes. Even so, when I was texting with my friends and, typing on my phone, I type so goddamn much that I can basically do it by muscle memory now. Like muscle memory plus predictive text, like that's fine. Like all the conversations I had today, I wasn't like, my phone was not here. Like my phone, like I'm typing right now. So like obviously I can't read what this incoming text says. Like to read it, I have to pull it a little closer, right? But like to type, like I don't need it as much as I think I do. I don't need it as much as I think I do. And I bring all of this up in the context of consciousness because one of the big things that I became really aware of is that, as I said before, if I have too much visual stimulus, like my brain just fucking shuts down. This is absolute true story. I was at Barnes and Noble with somebody. We were looking for books. We were having a lovely rolling conversation. I was doing the masculine sensory communication style thing with my TE, and we were talking, and it was great. It was like a wonderful conversation. She was like, "Hey, help me find this book," and I didn't even realize I had done it. But apparently, I just whole ass stopped talking, just shoom, because what was required of me in that moment was a visual thing. I was like, "Hey, help me look for this book." And my brain was just like, "Oh, fuck, I have to process visual shit now?" Okay, hang on. Let me look and look and look. And again, I had my glasses on to do this. But my whole system just fucking stopped because the visual stimulation was too much. I had to be conscious of all of the books to then find the right one. And it was fine. We ended up not finding the book because they didn't have it. But that's sort of how I am realizing in terms of my emotional life, internal life, whatever, just going through the day to day. How much fucking energy am I hemorrhaging trying to pay attention to shit that does not matter? And I realized it's probably a lot. So yesterday I was in the airport waiting, and I was listening to a podcast, and I was like, "Oh, I don't actually have to, I don't need to keep my eyes open to listen to this podcast. I can just close my eyes and listen, and it's fine." And in fact, I can pay attention better because I'm not trying to look, right? It's the whole thing of why you have to turn the radio down if you're about to parallel park, because your senses can't, right? It's a different sensory input. But I was like, how many times, how often am I paying attention to something that doesn't actually help me with the task at hand? Right? So if the task at hand is listen to podcast, consume podcast, absorb, process podcast, why am I looking around if it's not helping me? So there was a church that I used to go to, St. Peter's Church in St. Peter's Lutheran Church in New York City. It's a famous old church, very, very cool, great pastor. So the way that setup is designed, they're very about visual art, and the way that the church is designed, regardless of where you are sitting, you can always look up and see the sky. You can always look out a window from any vantage point in the church. And the reason that they designed it that way is so that they expect you during the sermon to like drift, like they want your thoughts to drift upward to God, right? To look up into the sky and sort of ponder the connection between like the scripture and the heavens. And like it's explicitly designed for your eyes to wander. Great. Love it. That's fantastic. This podcast is not designed to do it. Like that's not the point of it, right? And I realized, I was like, if I'm just trying to listen to this podcast, let me just close my eyes and listen to the fucking podcast. Like, I don't need to be paying attention like hyper vigilantly to the things around me. Why? Because my backpack and my suitcase are like, my arms are on them. No one's gonna fucking take it. They cannot take it without me noticing because of how my body is positioned around them. Now, obviously, I didn't leave my eyes closed for too long. There were some things I needed to be aware of, like I'd drift off for a little bit, then I'd open my eyes and check and see like, hey, how much longer is it going to be before we take off? Are there any delays? Let me check my phone, see if there are updates on the app, whatever, right? But that's what I'm saying, is that I think that to really optimize human experience going through life, whatever, I think it's really, really important that we be able to knowingly drift in and out of consciousness as it serves us. When I was on the cab on the way home, put my phone down, headphones on, closed my eyes. It was fucking great. I just like zonked out, listened to the podcast. It was awesome. And then occasionally I'd open my eyes, check and see where we were. Okay, great. Making sure we're on the right track. Everything is fine. It was amazing. It was amazing. And one of my big sort of things that I want to process and try to dig into a little bit more when it comes to consciousness is how much consciousness is actually required of me at any given moment. Because I think I kind of like this idea of like 20, 60, 20. Where 20% of the activities that I do not require sight at all, right? And again, we're tying a lot of the things together here, right? In true NI fashion. But like 20% of the activities don't require sight. If I could do the majority, I could do actually this entire recording without looking. Like the words that I say wouldn't really change if I'm not responding to the comments. But I want to respond to the comments, so I'm going to leave my eyes open to sort of see the fuzzy shapes and just make sure, okay, yep, that's the same comment as before. Okay, great, we're fine. But like, I don't know, listening to stuff, playing the guitar, like once I have grabbed my guitar, I don't need my eyes open for that. I don't need my eyes open listening to music, listening to a podcast, even just like walking around doing whatever I'm doing. There's actually a surprisingly large chunk of things that I just don't need my eyesight for. Then there's 20% of things where I very, very much need precise vision, right? So for instance, right now, I need to check to see how long I've been talking for. Okay, great. I've been talking for 34 minutes. Cool. That is a thing that I just need full consciousness for. Like I need to put my glasses on for that thing, right? Because to actually see it, like, I don't know, I have to get really close and it's awkward and like, I guess I can, but like that becomes more of a strain to try to do it without my glasses. Like, let me use the tool at my disposal. I don't not have glasses. That is a perfect use of this tool. Love it. And there are 20% of things where like, I really do need to be hyper conscious, right? I Obviously, like if we're talking about like the literal glasses, doing stuff, making sure I click the right buttons, whatever. And again, when I'm going through life, if I have to have a hard conversation with somebody, yeah, I'm gonna put on my, metaphorical heart glasses like this, right? Like, because in this moment for this conversation, I don't have the luxury of not using every tool at my disposal, because I can, you know, I do have these emotional glasses. I can have this difficult conversation with full clarity. I owe it to the other person to give them that clarity if I can provide it. Right? Great. But that needs to happen like 20% of the time. Right? I am sure that we have all been in relationships, whether they are personal, professional, academic, whatever, where it feels like, man, every single time I talk to this person, it just requires, like, I can't go on autopilot around this person. Like, I have to be like, I have to be super clear and super, like, and you're like, well, that's not sustainable. And eventually those relationships just kind of die off, right? Because I don't think you can, again, they've said this, we can't be fully conscious all the time. We just can't be. We would get nothing done. And I genuinely think that such a large part of why I have felt so unproductive these past 4 years is that I was just trying to be conscious of too much. I actually had too much consciousness, and it was fucking me up and keeping me from moving forward, because I was like, oh, God, I got to take care of that and that and that and that. And oh my God. Okay. I'm glad that I was conscious of that. I'm glad I put in the effort. But I think we need to be really cognizant of, like, when we are super, super, super conscious, it is going to impact our speed and productivity. And we're not gonna, yes, we're not gonna drive ourselves off a cliff, but it means we're only gonna be going like 5 miles an hour sometimes, right? And so that's why I sort of like this middle 60, right? This middle 60%, or, if you want to say 25, if you want to talk about quartiles, like bottom 25%, top 25%, middle 50, whatever fucking math you want, I don't care. But this sort of middle chunk where we live most of our life, I'm kind of into this idea of just having fuzzy vision. Because here's what fuzzy vision allows me to do. It allows me to go, hang on a second, I see something. What does that say? Okay, that's fine, right? I can zoom in a little bit. I can go and see, how long have I? Okay, that's a 3. Okay, I should probably start wrapping it up, right? I'm not saying, well, I have fuzzy vision. Well, too bad. I guess there's just shit that I can't see. My fuzzy vision is fine. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, put on your fucking glasses. Figure out what prescription you need. Or even if you get the wrong prescription, some prescription is better than no prescription. Like, put on your glasses for a second. See, all right, 38 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, great. No new comments. Okay, great. That's a really, 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 really good use, in my opinion, of glasses. It's a thing where most of the time, sort of walking around in sort of this like fuzzy little haze, right? And then if it's like, ooh, great, I get to put on this podcast and just go unconscious. Cool. Love it. That's a nice little respite from the fuzzy life. And really what it is it's a counterbalance to the times where it's like, oh, okay, hang on. I have to let me actually put on my glasses. Let me really do the thing. Let me pay attention. Let me see. Right. And here's the thing. Before I did this, before I started this podcast, I had my glasses on because I had to make sure that the visuals looked good. Right. I need to make sure there wasn't shit in my teeth. I was just eating a bunch of broccoli. I need to make sure there's not broccoli like in my front teeth because that would be super awkward, right? And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about, people are walking around and they don't even know. Well, yeah, if you never put on your glasses, then you're never going to catch the broccoli in your teeth. But also, I think that there is something to be said for, you know what? It is true. If I don't put my glasses on, I'm not going to know that I have broccoli in my teeth. But I could have just gone to the bathroom and brushed my teeth and been like, you know what? There's a 97% chance that I got all the broccoli out of my teeth. I don't need to put my glasses on because I can just brush my teeth, right? And I think part of just like becoming an adult, becoming conscious, becoming aware, and being able to really successfully navigate life is really about knowing when do you need your glasses on? When can you take your glasses off? When is fuzzy town good enough? That to me, like that's being an adult. Consciousness is absolutely a part of that. Taking responsibility, absolutely a part of that. But we all know immature people who are just, they're like, yes, I'm conscious of everything. I know everything. I'm fucking doom scrolling on Facebook all day. And it's like, yes, you know all of these things, but like, is this changing your behavior? Does it actually fucking matter? You know what I look up on the internet, like when I'm like looking at news or whatever, 90% of the time, I'm just checking every couple of days to see what the latest COVID announcements in Los Angeles are. That's it. That's all that I really actually care about. I don't really care about the election now. I don't really care because I have cast my vote. If some bullshit nonsense happens, that's just out of my hands. And again, I'll check in every couple of days to make sure that no bullshit nonsense happened. But I also trust that other people in my network will also be talking about that. Like if some bullshit nonsense comes up, I'm not going to stay ignorant for very long because of how tapped in I am to just all of the things and the people, right? Like I'm going to pick up on it. And so here's where I'm at right now. And I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, whatever. I want to see kind of what I can get away with in terms of unconsciousness or fuzzy consciousness, right? Because I know, look, I'm not going to like close my eyes and try to make coffee. That's not going to work. I'm not going to close my eyes and try to make an omelet because I need to see I need to generally see how cooked the egg is, right? But I think that there's a lot of things that I have been doing with my glasses on, literally and metaphorically, right? It's just not necessary. And more importantly, it's not sustainable. I do not think that 2020 consciousness is sustainable for more than like 30 seconds at a time. I really don't. Maybe it's longer than that. Maybe I don't know. That's like an arbitrary number, but like it's definitely a short amount of time that you can actually be really fully conscious of all the things. And what I'm really interested in trying to do is see like what falls through the cracks. Because I have to let some things fall through the cracks to see where the imperfections in my system are. And if I see that, like, you know what, the stuff that falls through the cracks doesn't actually matter, that's really good information to know. But if the stuff that falls through the cracks ends up being a little bit important, I'm like, ooh, okay. Then that's a thing that I need to be aware of. So let me build some sort of system on the back end to catch that. So for instance, I know that I do these videos live. I like doing them live so that I can see comments. And I was sort of thinking like, oh, fuck, how am I going to see the comments? But then I realized, oh, I'm going to see, like a new line is going to appear. Like I'm going to see the shape of a comment. I'm going to see a little fuzzy face of an avatar. So if I see a comment, great. That's a good time to put on my glasses, read the comment, then I can take them off again. So I don't know if this is logistically feasible. I'm kind of just TE shitting out ideas here, but I think that there's something to this. And I would love to hear what you think. Again, I've been just really interested in this concept of visualizing and feeling and how that affects things. And I don't know. I think there's a lot. I could go on a whole rant about digital life and how the reason why the internet drains me so much is that it's all visual. And it's bombarding me all the time and I can't fucking get anything done because I have to use all of my visual facilities all the time. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So I kind of want to see what I can get away with. Maybe I'll crash and burn. I'm fully open to like crashing and burning. And I do have like fail safes built in. Obviously, if I know I'm driving, I'm going to put on my fucking glasses. I'm not an idiot. Right? Much in the same way that on an emotional consciousness growth level, if I have to have a hard conversation with somebody, if I'm like, let's say I'm talking to a female friend of mine about like systemic discrimination and like gender sexism and, you know, gender disparity in the workforce, I'm not going to like, well, listen, I think that my fuzzy consciousness is just as good as your lived experience. No, of fucking course not. I'm not doing that. I'll put on my emotional glasses for that conversation. But I think it's worth being aware of. And I think it's worth recognizing that when we are fully conscious, we are necessarily less productive. So if your goal is productivity, there has to be a part of you that is just unconscious. And I think a worthy goal is to have your unconscious brain be so goddamn good that it takes a lot for you to need to dip into full 2020 consciousness. All right, that's all I got for today. Thank you for playing with me, indulging me in this weird experiment. If you want to try it too, again, please be safe. Don't drive without glasses if you need glasses to drive. Don't be an asshole to people. Don't like whatever, right? Baseline human, normal, common sense shit. But like, let me know what you think. I think there might be like an actual nugget here, if not an entire vein of, you know, existential gold. All right. That's all I got for today. I will talk to you guys later. All right. There it is. I think I'm turning it off now. Bye. Big red button. Yeah.